we get to see what 6 mons each of them brought. Wait, is that Glalie? Did he bring Glalie?
That's a Zangoose.
Wait, that's also... What? He didn't... Interesting choices. He brought Zangoose and Glalie. Instead of like... Wait, did he not? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, did he not bring Raikou? But he did. Yeah, he didn't bring Dragonite or Solrock. Or
I don't know what his. I don't know his draft. So
yeah, the ones he didn't pick are like Dragonite, Quagsire, Solrock. He's been using the Quagsire a fair amount. I'm surprised that like, in what world did you pick Glalie over like Dragonite?
Hmm.
I wonder what kind of niche that has. There's on Michael's side, well, they're called Cherry Game, but Michael, what was their draft? Yeah, pretty much what you would expect, except that Gyarados is missing. But I mean, Michael just has like a very obvious rain team. It's just Kingdra, Ludicolo, Gyarados. So you're kind of spoiled
what
for
is
choice.
Michael's name on the sheet then?
Michael Dawn. It's on Roasters Pool 3, bottom right.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I think I should lower your volume a bit.
Sounds like a good idea. Especially since we're being decently quiet right now. I will get louder. I will get to like here. So.
Yeah, Michael was decided pretty quickly. Nnico's still choosing his 4. Polarath is interesting though.
Oh, there's no Gyarados here.
Yeah, there was a Gyarados, but he opted for Poliwrath instead.
Interesting. I would have imagined that Gyarados would be really good here. But
yeah.
alas.
So like both of them like running. I mean, Michael literally has a rain team, but Nnico also has a Kingdra, which means that they're definitely both prepared for rain.
Yeah.
We'll see how this turns out. Like, you could be seeing like Jolteon with Thunder and stuff, even though you didn't bring rain yourself, that kind of thing. Ludicolo and Kingdra, okay, that screams rain. Nnico immediately starting out with the Glalie.
Right.
Raikou next to Glalie.
Interesting. I do like this Volt Beam combination here, especially against. Like, well, I mean, at the same time, both these water types do resist. Well, rather not. They're not super weak to electric or ice. They're just neutrally hit. Whereas if that Ludicolo is putting up a lot of pressure with Fake Out, and I would imagine that Raikou is the bigger threat here with its access to Light Screen and Calm.
Yeah, I was just about to comment on Gentle. The one thing Glalie does have, it has inner focus. So flinching it, there you go. did he not know? Wow, okay, well, thank you for showing us, but yeah, you don't get flinched like that.
Interesting that Generation 3 it shows that. Rain Dance like Kingdra, and are we going to see an Ice Beam? A Light Screen from the Glalie. I'm very surprised it's Light Screen on the Glalie here.
Yeah.
Instead of Raikou, considering the speed tiers, but we do now know that Glalie is slower than the Kingdra naturally.
Yeah, because they're both 80 speed, right?
Yes. No, Kingdra is 85 speed.
Ah, 85, I see.
Interestingly, that Glalie is almost maximum HP. While that Ludicolo, I believe that Ludicolo has very little investment in its HP.
I would think I've seen none of it. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
Same here. That Raikou is also...
Brick Break on Ludicolo! Oh god. Well, that gives you turn 1.
How much damage? Oh, wow, that did quite a bit.
Clicking Hydro Pump.
Is that into Raikou?
Yeah, into the substitute.
Now that makes sense here. I mean, Raikou is very much a threat here. Are we going to see a reset of the light screen from Glalie? Ultra Thunderbolt. Is
Ooh,
that
that,
insta
that
Kingdra?
does
Yes.
that doesn't do it KO, does it?
Just under half
Ah,
HP. We
but
might
I
see
see
Icy in.
it.
So now Raikou will indeed be faster, most likely, than that Kingdra.
Because
It does also put it into range of that Thunderbolt.
now Kingdra has 1.5 times speed, so I think it should still outspeed
It's
Raikou.
1.3. It's 4/3.
Oh right, that is how that
It's
works.
only
Yeah,
doubled.
it's at -1 and then it gets doubled. You're right. Yeah, so that should mean that Raikou outspeeds for sure. Which threatens Kingdra. So you would assume Kingdra clicks Protect here or switches or something. Yeah, and the Glalie just holding out really well. Yeah, retreating the Glalie. And Nnico gets their own Kingdra on the field.
Especially with that speed now, where it's so much faster. Raikou goes for the Protect. Most likely
Oh, the
going
miss!
for the expectation of Hydro Pump. But that's not very big of a miss.
Yeah.
So it's very much a moot turn, other than Kingdra coming on the field for Nnico here, which is quite big.
I think
Although
Nnico.
At the same time, it's a quad resist.
I think Nnico
So
was
it might be,
hoping. I think Nnico was hoping that Michael's Kingdra would protect.
I agree here. What is probably the most likely is that it's going to be Dragon Fang, Dragon Breath here with a modest nature. Most likely just to remove that Kingdra as fast as possible.
Yeah, that is likely.
Quite a bit of bulk as well, but it's not as much as Michael's here, which would make me think that his Kingdra is faster than Mikey's as well.
Yes, I mean I assume they also have some special defense investment. So it's the only thing I think they care about. Michael switches out the Kingdra and gets Dusclops on the field.
Which is quite interesting here. I would not have imagined Dusclops would be too useful here. We do see hidden power. Is this going to be hidden power Dragon?
It was neutral, so that might be Dragon,
power Dragon. Interesting. Especially considering that Dragon Breath is a move that does equally the same power without lowering IVs. But we do see Ludicolo go down nonetheless. And I would imagine this is quite a big turn for Nnico. Dusclops does absolutely nothing here. Jolteon does mean that Raikou doesn't really do much anymore, but that Kingdra is still on the field with Reina.
Yeah, I wonder what the idea of this Dusclops is. Like, usually I would assume Dusclops is an opening Pokemon. But here it comes in at like the end of Rain.
Could it be using Perish Soul or Pain Split here?
Oh, is that a forfeit?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That is.
I mean, I can see it. They would definitely in a way weaker position. You can see that Nnico did have Hariyama in the back. That's something you can see in the preview of XD, which you can't see on Showdown.
Yeah, it is quite big actually, especially considering that Hariyama is not countering much here past Clefable, but that means Michael is really dissuaded from bringing that Clefable here.
Yes. Yeah, now Michael is forced to find some kind of solution to this weird opening.
I wonder if it's going to be that combination of Kingdra and Jolteon. Both of those are threatening enough that they would remove Glalie with a double up. However, Glalie most likely has Protect with its Icy Wind. And there wouldn't be much incentive to run Reflect here, so it could still be Ice Beam.
Yes. Yeah, the fact that the Ludicolo dropped too easily, and the fact that there was not enough threats on the Raikou, because like the Brick Break needed to happen. Like instead of that Brick Break, you would ideally want to just click Hydro Pump or something on the Raikou.
We do see the exact same lead here from Michael, which is an interesting choice as we see the same lead from Nnico as well, knowing how well that first lead worked. And I believe that this might be worse for Michael here, as Raikou can just still go for that same Protect, even if there's a Fake Out here, because Glalie is just such an issue here.
Yes.
Even though
What do you do?
Ludicario is faster
I mean,
than the Kingdra.
okay, what you could do technically, you could just immediately kick Brick Break on Glalie. That would solve the issue if you're slower. Did we see if
The issue
Ludicolo's
though
faster or
is that
slower?
if there is an icy win from that Glalie, then no longer
Yeah.
is Kingdra or Ludicolo a threat because now they will both be slower than the Raikou.
Yeah.
Unless Ludicolo is maximum speed, in which case, but no, even with that maximum speed, that
Yeah,
Raikou is most likely outspeeding maximum speed Ludicolo after an icy win.
You. What if you Brick Break on the Glalie and just Hydro Pump immediately? Also on the Glalie? Just try to one-shot it. Looks like Michael's opting for Hydro Pump on the Glalie, similarly to what we were saying. Yeah, immediately. Does he double into the Glalie?
Yes.
Yeah, he does. Goes for a
No.
one-shot and gets it. He's doubling
That
on
is
with
a
Hydro
big KO
Pumps.
here.
Yep. That's one way of dealing with it. But now the Raikou does have substitute setup, which does allow it to get basically a free hit on Kingdra with correct predictions.
And there's also no rain setup.
Yeah, and there's still no rain, which is definitely better for Nnico. Yeah, that was a 64% chance. That was 280% right there. Silly goose. That is a Zangoose.
I wonder what this Zangoose is going to do here.
Yes.
I cannot imagine it being anything too major here, but it does have access to Sword Stance along with Body Slam, which could be quite interesting.
Yeah, it could just be Sword Stance. It could just be like Salak Berry, because I do think it gets Endure. It could just be Choice Band for all I know. I have no idea.
Choice Band Hyper Beam here could be really devastating, especially with how much pressure that Raikou is putting on. Substitute plus Calm Mind here would be just enough for Zangoose to fire off a very, very greedy Hyper Beam, remove the Kingdra, and now there's not much threatening that Raikou. It can just Calm Mind.
Apparently Zangoose doesn't get Hyper Beam on the Double Edge. But still, Double Edge might
Double
be
Edge is
enough.
even stronger, because there's no recoil. I mean, Kingdra may be able to live an Adamant Double Edge from Choice Band Zangoose, but that's not something that it still wants to take. Raikou can again get up that free Calm Mind. We do see the Protect, which makes me think that Ludicolo might have access to
Return.
Rain Dance. We do see Return.
Nick gets punished here for trying to double into the Kingdra.
Hydro Pump into the Ludicolo.
That one shots? Oof.
Wow.
I didn't expect that to one shot. That wasn't even a crit.
Exactly.
I'm gonna check like what the chances on that were. Obviously, I can't know what the exact IVs and IVs were, but EVs I should say. Oh, assuming max special attack Ludicolo and no investment from Zangoose is a 25% chance to win a KO. So that was probably a high roll. It might be Mystic Water, that's correct. That would make it a lot more likely.
Do you see the Giga Drain here from Ludicolo into the substitute? However, that might not be even close to enough after that Thunderbolt. 64%, now there's a 44 HP gain, sorry. As we see Ice Beam also, well, no, into the Kingdra this time.
Yeah, I assume that Ice
This
Beam.
might be.
I assume that Ice Beam was there for Dragonite, but Nnico didn't bring it.
Yes, yes, it would be.
Well, suddenly Michael's in a way better spot, despite not really getting the ideal start, supposedly. Yeah, very interesting choices from both. To not bring Gyarados, to not bring Dragonite. Yeah, that's that hidden power again. I wonder what the logic there is for bringing it over Dragon Breath. I would think it's just better in almost all scenarios.
And Rain Dance finally goes up. Interesting to see that it was finally set up on this turn after the Ludicolo goes down. Jolteon on the field is quite... It's not very threatening, if I can say that. Yes, it does have Thunderbolt, but Kingdra Resist can threaten it with a potential one-hit KO. And it's already putting on so much pressure. The Kingdra is already putting on so much pressure that Jolteon is just struggling to do it. Even with a potential modest magnet boosted Thunderbolt, I don't think it will be enough to pick up the KO here.
Yeah, I think I agree. What's the out here? Yeah, Nnico's still thinking about it. Clicks Hydro Pump, but it misses. That's a big miss.
Oh, that is very, very unfortunate here as we see the Ice Beam go into the substitute from Raikou. Will we see the substitute fall? Yes, we will. That is quite major. We do see Thunder come out here. Is that going to be enough to pick up the Kingdra? I think it is. It is. That is a huge KO. I believe this game is now completely sealed.
Yeah.
Raikou goes for a Thunderbolt into Kingdra, and I will not imagine this doing a lot.
Does Jolteon get one shot there? Otherwise? Like if it didn't miss?
No, because the Jolteon was... maybe.
I know this game should be over. I don't really... Yeah, there's no way. Thunder. It is Thunder on Jolteon. Which makes sense. I mean, you probably have room for both, right? You don't... I don't think you need too many moves on Jolteon. Its purpose is to click damage, for the most part.
Hydro Pump does hit into Raikou here, and it will be doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Brings it down to just 47 HP. That is devastating, especially after that Thunder, which will seal game 2 here. Is this a best of 3 or is it a best of 5? We will find out.
Oh yeah, it's a best of 3 now. Sorry, I forgot to update the numbers, but yeah, it's 1-1 now. Not bad.
We do see the Dusclops in the back here. Interesting.
Yeah, still opting for that Dusclops, even though I didn't really see it do anything else last time.
Surprising that the Zangoose was chosen here over the Hariyama. I'm still very surprised there was no Sceptile Brain here, when it would seem to me how strong it is. It threatens Ludicolo, Kingdra, Jolteon, and Poliwrath, and can switch into all of their attacks without too much issue outside of Ice Beam Kingdra.
It's really...
And it has a really powerful Leaf Blade here.
It's the only thing that really likes switching into Hydro Pump, other than Kingdra itself. But yeah, Leaf Blade is not that good. Sceptile doesn't do damage, it's a bit disappointing, but it is very fast. So I would assume like Sceptile is always useful, right? But assume like Nnico did some calcs and didn't like the damage. But he did bring it. I'm also curious what the idea of this Clefable is. Like, Clefable next to Gyarados makes perfect sense to me. Or even just Kingdra if you just immediately go for the rain setup. But so far it's been Ludicolo next to the Kingdra instead. Yeah, and even later on.
That will change in game 3.
Yeah, that's definitely like a switch up you could do while still keeping the same game plan. Yeah, we haven't seen much of this Dusclops yet. I think do we only know Protect? Because Michael forfeited pretty quickly in game 1. Which might be very well just be to just hide like, what the move pool of Dusclops is. That could be very relevant. Is there a world where it's like Calm Mind Dusclops? Is that insane here? So I don't think Will-O-Wisp is particularly useful against Nnico's team. And Imprison Boom is not really a thing either. Neither of these teams like exploding much. But maybe we'll find out this game. Let's see if they change either of their leads. It is Clefable next to Poliwrath. And for Nnico is Raikou and back to the Glalie again. It's a different look from Michael. Yeah, honestly I have no idea what Poliwrath does. I think Belly Drum? Poliwrath gets Belly Drum, I would think. Click Anchor here, you can click Follow Me here. This is scary. Nnico opts for the substitute, setting up himself. It is Belly Drum, next to I assume, yeah. Taunts. Goes on the Clefable. Yeah, and it was Encore. That's what I was assuming because I didn't see Follow Me. That's pretty greedy, to be honest. Like, if that Raikou did actually end up clicking Thunderbolt, Poliwrath was just gone. That gets the read. However, Clefable can't click Follow Me now. And Poliwrath is pretty slow. So I would think that the Raikou is just going to murder it. So Michael is in a lot of trouble here, I think. Yeah, it could have Protect, but even if it protects, like, nothing's going to change. It's not like Clefable is going to wipe Nnico's team, right? So the obvious play, opposite, take Poliwrath back. There were other options there, but this seems the safest option. Gets the switch in into Volt Absorb. And Nnico just sets up very slowly. Like nothing even happened. Yeah, Taunt is really bad in Gen 3. You only get one turn after the turn you actually use it. Especially compared to Encore. Encore is like so much better. But it does have use cases, like it made sense in this situation. Nnico Thunderbolts, which does a bit less than half on Clefable. But maybe combined with that Icy Wind, it can threaten a KO. Oh, when the Anchor hits the Icy Wind. I don't think Michael likes that much. Because this Raikou is still very much just big chilling. I'm pretty sure this Raikou doesn't have Calm Mind at this point. It's probably just substitute, protect, Thunderbolt, and like some coverage move. Either Hidden Power or Crunch. Actually, a Crunch doesn't make any sense, does it? The Polyrath's even slower. It's gonna be even slower than Glalie now. And it can't use Belly Drum anymore. Yeah, honestly, I kinda like Glalie thus far. Yeah, I don't see a way how Michael gets rid of that substitute. It's such a big issue. Pull out this Earthquake. Which, wow, did like no damage to Clefable. That Clefable has to be like max defense, no? That was like 60 damage. That's kinda sad. Yeah. Okay, Clefable goes for Follow Me, so the Polaroid gets to click one more move. Probably. It does get taken up by Raikou, which means that Glalie might actually hit its original target, because I believe the way that Follow Me works in a way like it ends if the user dies on that turn. So if Glalie had targeted Poliwrath, it would still hit there, I think. Not that it matters in the case of Icy Wind, but it does persist? Okay. I haven't seen that interaction yet. So one more Earthquake. That doesn't even 2-hit KO? Oh my god, that's sad. Oh, poor Poliwrath. Yeah, it does nothing without that Belly Drum. That means like even with Swagger it doesn't kill. Which I was gonna, like, that's another idea I had with Dusclops. Maybe it just clicks like Swagger or Poliwrath. But even that, I mean, I guess it would work now. Okay, Michael brings back the Poliwrath again. Man, this Glalie is just forever clicking Icy Wind. It is Calm Mind Dusclops. Alright, I actually called that. So that was the whole idea with this Dusclops in the end of the day. You just wait out the rain and just win an endgame where there's only special attackers left is the idea. But this is hardly an endgame. Okay, it is Crunch as the coverage move. So Raku is Thunderbolt, Crunch, Substitute, Protect. Jolteon also has Rain Dance, which means they can click Thunder more easily now. So the Inkor is finally over. Somehow the Glalie survived and was never really threatened at all. But that does mean it can just explode now.
Indeed, it does. Although I imagine that Dusclops could be an issue here.
Yes, it is +2 now. And we don't know what Nnico has in the back at all. I assume Hariyama is there. But what is Hariyama going to do?
Considering, I imagine it would be able to live a modest choice.
Oh yeah,
boosted.
Yeah, true. Pump. I forgot about that. Poliwrath does get damp. Yeah. Nnico keeps clicking Crunch. That does a lot actually. So the Dusclops needs to click like Rest or something now if it wants to sweep.
Exactly, and I don't believe it will be Rest. Light Screen does come up here, which is quite interesting. With Ludicolo not being a threat anymore.
Yeah, Pain Split would be an interesting option, but it needs some kind of recovery right here. It is Pain Split. Nice call. Also the Glalie.
Interesting.
So that's an interesting set. What's the move? Is it just Hidden Power Electric or something? With its Calm Mind Project, Pain Splits, and then it has to have some kind of attacking move. Yeah, Hidden Power Ice does make sense. Yeah, especially because Michael was preparing for Dragonite for sure. HP Water does make sense, but it does nothing into Kingdra or Dragonite. So I assume it gets... Oh, it does get Ice Beam, you're right. That is the thing Dusclops gets. Yes, I imagine it's Ice Beam then. And meanwhile, Jolteon... How is this Raikou living this long? It's taken so many hits. Yeah, this is a strange game.
Indeed.
I was first thinking like Nnico just easily wins this, but Nnico is not making any progress either. Oh, it does go for the explosion. Okay, just tries to delete the Jolteon. And does get it. Yeah, I think that's good for Nnico. And we finally get to see what Nnico brought in the back. Does he have a good answer here? The Zangoose is back on the field.
Interesting considering how little it did.
Yeah, it is Ice Beam.
Poliwrath.
Okay, so we got a lot of information this game.
Although it is game 3, so the information is very, very limited here.
Yeah, interestingly enough, Ice Beam somehow makes Glalie even better. Because it actually resists. The one resists Ice types have. So this might have been a really good call from Nnico. I kind of like the Glalie. Okay, Nnico's opting to immediately delete the Poliwrath, and it doesn't protect. So Michael's getting picked off
We'll
here.
bring down Michael to just.
Oh, that kills!
Shadow Ball
Yes, I
will
guess
be
that.
enough after a critical hit.
Yep. Yes, Angus just has return Shadow Ball. And that's just it. Wow, that was a very slow game, but it ended very quickly. Yeah, that's true, and that should be choice band. So
agree.
it's probably
that
just
damage was very, very heavy.
So it's just return Earthquake, Shadow Ball, and then maybe even like Protect or just any coverage move. Yeah, so the start was. Well, I'm still not sure what to think of that. Like, if you're Michael, what do you do here?
Exactly.
I feel like Michael has like revealed pretty much the entire hand. Like, we know what the idea of Polarath is, and Dustclops, and Clefable. We've seen pretty much anything. Whereas with Nnico, we haven't even seen these Hariyama and Sceptile at all yet. So in terms of information, Nnico is definitely ahead. Also in terms of score, I should remember to update that. It's 2-1 for Nnico now.
I'm surprised it is best of 5.
Yeah, it is best of 5.
We do see the Clefable and the Poliwrath this time.
Yeah, the run back. And Nnico just keeps on with this Glalie opening because it's been working. Like the one game Nnico lost is because Glalie just got like double tapped with 2 Hydro Pumps.
Not just that, but it was just unable to even do anything because of the passive play from the Raikou with that substitute.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder if the plan for the Polarath is different now, because Clefable didn't even click follow me first turn last time. So does the Polarath go for Belly Drum immediately? Does it go for a substitute first? Does it swap out? Does not like this matchup. I think Michael was hoping that Nnico would change things up.
Thunderbolt goes into that Volt Absorb Jolteon, which is quite big here. Taunt goes into the Clefable, most likely expecting to follow me, but instead it's just Icy Wind, which is quite big here.
Oh yeah, Icy Wind is huge. That does hamper the Raikou a lot. Although Michael doesn't really have anything to threaten Raikou either right now. It's not like Jolteon is going to do much into Raikou either.
The disabling of Follow Me, Helping Hand, and Rain Dance is quite big here though. Not only is Jolteon now very unreliable, but Clefable is not going to be doing much here.
Yes, it's really not, none of these ones hit each other very hard. I imagine, yeah, I think paralysis might be huge here. Nnico might want to switch Raikou out because the speed is a huge deal.
At the same time, this may be prime opportunity for Raikou to be able to set up a substitute here.
Yes. Does not. I was expecting Rain Dance maybe here, but Jolteon offered Protect, and Nnico is rewarded seemingly because he gets to set up a substitute. And Live Screen, just go for the full setup.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like Nico's answer is just to play defensively into Rain.
And it seems to be working.
Yeah, it seems to be working quite well so far. Yeah, it's good what Gentle pointed out. You have to remember that this Glalie could explode at any moment as well. It's actually very annoying. Does it kill Clefable? I would imagine. I would imagine it's close. Let me check that. I mean, I have no clue what this Glalie set is. We do know it has a lot of HP investment.
We also know that it is Explosion, Icy Wind, and Light Screen so far.
Let's see. So Clefable is also max HP. Oh, it's a roll. It's actually a 25% chance to win a KO, assuming no attack investment from Glalie. If it does have some, then it's a lot more likely. Yeah, but like 128 attack investment, it's guaranteed. So it's probably guaranteed to one shot.
Thunder does hit here. Into Glalie, that does quite a respectable chunk here. Crunch goes
Yes.
into
Oh, the crit.
Jolteon here, critical hit. Brings it down so far down. Encore. Glalie, that is going to limit how much you can do here. Being stuck into light screen means it just is forced to switch out.
Yeah, that was good, but man, the Jolteon now being in KO range is really bad.
However, it will be able to fire off one last attack at minimum. Not just that, but Glalie is now no longer threatened in an explosion, which means the Clefable and Jolteon can both do whatever they would like. Clefable is also no longer taunted.
Yeah, Michael just gets a turn for free almost, but he should expect the Jolteon to die. Just clicks Thunder.
We do not see a switch here. Thunder goes into Glalie again, but it's not enough.
Yeah, does it get the para?
It does.
It's kind of to be expected when you hit 2 Thunders. Oh, the full para though. Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter here, but you hate to see it. Yeah, I think Nnico was predicting that to just go into Jolteon is going into Glalie again. What I want to know is what Michael's answer into Raikou is. I think Michael's idea is that he really wants to get rid of Glalie before Kingdra goes on the field, so that Glalie can't hit Icy Wind on it, and that you can ensure that Kingdra will always outspeed Raikou. I think that's the main thing Michael wants. That would explain his play so far. That's assuming that the other Pokemon in the back is Kingdra for Michael.
Exactly.
It might just be the Dusclops again. But he did bring Jolteon, he did just click Rain Dance. That might be for its own Thunders, but... this Jolteon is just hanging on by a thread. Okay, Nnico now does switch into Kingdra, also getting the double speed from the rain. And that Thunder is going straight into the Kingdra, doing half, exactly half. No, a bit less.
No, it is exactly half.
No, it's a bit less.
Thunderbolt goes into Clefable, and it does just put it in range. The paralysis, though, is huge.
Yes.
Icy Wind will neuter that Kingdra now, putting it just below Jolteon's speed tier. However, Raikou is not going to be affected. Critical hit is slightly effective here, reducing the necessity of any rolls, but we do see the light screen end, so if there is any roll necessary at all.
I mean, I would think Raikou has to... Nah, Jolteon's too fast. Jolteon's just gonna...
Jolteon is indeed too fast. Maybe Kingdra can switch out here, but that would still be highly risky here. Especially if whatever Nnico has the back falls as well.
Yeah, so Michael is successfully ignoring the Raikou. That's what's happening here.
For now. It may be that... obviously that might not stay forever. But we'll just have to see.
Yeah, that's one play. You could just sack the Glalie if you're Nnico. And if you do so, you have a high chance of killing the Jolteon yourself. But then again, Clefable could just click follow me as well, which would prevent Jolteon from dying.
But at the same time, that does open up mind games here. We don't know if that Clefable has Protect yet.
That's true, we haven't seen Protect on Clefable, have we?
In fact, we know its moveset entirely.
Do we? It's Follow Me, Taunts. What else do we see?
Follow Me, Encore.
Encore, right.
Rain Dance?
Oh yeah, the other one did Taunt, yeah. We haven't seen Rain Dance, no, that was Jolteon.
Oh, was it? Oh.
Or Clefable did click project. Okay. Yeah, I was confused. Oh, that doesn't kill.
6 HP is so
Yeah.
incredibly devastating. We do see Crunch
No.
going into Clefable after Follow Me, most likely targeting that Jolteon, but that is so unfortunate for Nnico here.
It is the Dusclops in the back again. Wow, really putting a lot of faith into this Dusclops.
Exactly, and I'm still wondering what the goal of the Dusclops is here. Is it trying to set up an explosion? Is it trying to set up some status? What is it trying to do here? Maybe it's some curse endgame thing.
No, it's not. We know Dusclops' moveset, don't we?
Do we?
It's Pain Split, Calm Mind, Protect, Ice Beam. I'm pretty sure we've seen
Oh.
Protect. Not 100% sure on that one, but I think we know the entire moveset.
What does Protect cover for, though, is the question.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm not sure of. I do think it has to click Protect. I might be wrong on that one.
We do see Kingdra switch out here, though. Interesting. With Galele being the switch in
Yes,
back.
that might just be a sack, yeah, and into the Thunder. Now the idea, I guess, is that you get your Kingdra on the field with full speed. Which you wouldn't get if you just project.
Now, do we see that happen is the question.
Yeah, or does Nnico pull out their other Pokemon? Honestly, it's crazy how long this Jolteon has survived. There's been like 4 turns where Raka could have been clicking Crunch on it. Except last turn, I guess. Because then Follow Me was actually happening.
Exactly. There's been so many turns of Follow Me Mind Gaming that it's just lived so long. Even with that critical hit, Crunch.
Yeah, bringing both Clefable and Dusclops was not something I was expecting.
I agree. I would not have considered bringing both Clefable and Dusclops here. Going without a rain mode is really, really surprising. We do see the Kingdra being brought back out, most likely trying to take advantage of any potential extra rain turns, although I think it's about to end. As we do see Jolteon faint here, is that the second or third KO here? I believe it's the third, which means that Nnico is so far
no, yeah, the Polyref. That was last game. Polyref's still alive. that switched out at the start, right?
Even with Poliwrath being the last Pokemon here, that
what?
Raikou is
Wait,
just...
hold on. What was that Pain Split? What was the big idea there? Was that a misclick?
I believe it was a miss.
Oh, he was reading a Crunch, right. But, I mean, really? Wouldn't you just click it on the Jolteon every time? Yeah, you always go for Calm Mind there. I agree with Oops. I mean, it has to be with Gentle Set, but... Yeah, now what is this Polyref gonna do? It's clicking Earthquake, which we know is a 3-hit kill. Oh, it's a crit! It lives! No! On 2 HP. Oh, poor Polyref. It doesn't kill on a crit. Oh god. Oh, the Polyref immediately.
And it's just removed.
Wow. Man, Polyref. You had one chance to shine. Yeah, but this game's not over. Because Raikou just dies with any hit. Kingdra dies with any... Well, does Kingdra die to an Ice Beam? From a +1? Yeah, it should.
It should, however, I do not think that's the Dusclops wins.
Okay, it does go for Protect. Let's get some more leftovers. It's rewarded for it. Yeah, but if the last Pokemon is Zangoose, then I think Shadow Ball should just 2-hit KO every time. Well, should it? Well, I don't think it won't get it. No. I could still see free shenanigans. Goes for a double project, which is very funky play. That's very greedy if you ask me.
I agree. Hidden Power Dragon does a considerable amount, +1 on dust drops. And then Crunch will be doing
A lot of damage. Yeah, I agree.
too much.
Isn't this Dusclops just a worse Blissey?
I agree. It doesn't do enough, and it's not very threatening either. We do see the Protect after the fail, obviously, meaning that Dusclops might be able to do something, but it's very, very unlikely considering that Crunch alone did a considerable amount. I believe it was on 100 damage itself.
I don't think there's any way. Like, even if you kill Raikau, just Zangoose just clicks Shadow Ball every time. There's no way.
And Raikou is now above that 25% HP threshold, so it can always go for a substitute here if Nnico just wants to guarantee the win. Although I would believe that he has already guaranteed the win here.
I think the only out is if you, like, live on, like, no HP now. Is there a way you can get Pain Split off on Zangoose? No, there's just no way, right?
I would believe not. Double Protect is going to potentially allow Mike to come back here. But again,
yeah, if there's no Zangoose
on the previous turn at 260 HP after all these turns.
It's true that, like, Nnico is playing
to under 200.
Nnico is playing pretty carefully. Maybe there is no Zangoose in the back. Oh, what the crit! Okay, well, that's one way to end it.
That would definitely speed things up.
Yes. I mean, that's what happens when you click so many moves, right? It was Zangoose in the back at the end of the day, so that should have been over anyway. Yeah, that's GG's. It's 3-1 for Nnico. That was a strange game.
I agree.
I haven't seen too much of, like, Oracle Coliseum in general, but that was definitely one of the games of all time. That was, and yeah, Glalie did a lot of work.
Glalie did a surprising amount of work.
And Rain wasn't all that relevant, weirdly.
Type. Yeah, he knew an ice type would be so bulky.
Yeah.